The DGBA are hosting a brand new off-season tourney that involves low-tier Pokemon like Metagross and Crocodile that are pretty good in standard format are now superstars in this one. Even low-tier Pokemon you may not see in draft standard format now can be legitimately scary due to new surroundings. This off-season is designed to bring people from different communities into the server, plus the DGBA is a warm, kind and welcoming environment. If you want to check out the off-season to apply, check the link below, as well as the link to the server. Now, onto the video. Hey, what is up guys, it's me Parksy here, your coach of the Armaldos, bringing back the Smash today here for DGBA Season 9 week number 6, where your Armaldos are going to be taking on Dave and the Chicago Conkelders. Is going to be a very interesting matchup, as Dave is he's had a very interesting season so far. He's 2-3 with, I believe, a +3 differential, which means that pretty much he's won a lot of his games with a very respectable amount of differential while losing very small. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game goes, because I know that he can be quite a threatening player despite him having more losses than wins. And for once, finally, for the first time in 6 weeks, I've actually played someone who's got more losses than wins. So yeah, that's kind of nice for me. But again, I am not discounting Dave. I think that he can be a very good battler, and he has got a good team, but I can definitely see the flaws in it, and that's why I feel like his performance has been a little bit lackluster this season. I don't think it's because of his playstyle or his abilities as a battler. I just think that his team that he's drafted has got a few holes in it that I do, of course, as with any team, plan to abuse it. But if you guys haven't already, make sure to go leave a like on this video. I am doing them every single week, and despite it being quarantine, lockdown, whatever it is, I am quite busy actually. I do have a bit of schoolwork to do, and I do have some other things that I have to get done as well, just some sort of activities that I just have decided to put myself into, so I have to get quite a few of those done, which means that I have a little bit of time consumed during this quarantine. But I have finally managed to actually get myself to do this video. So his team consists of Mega Manectric, Victini, Hydreigon, Deoxys Defense, Toxicroak, Serena, Azumarill, Aegis/Golisopod, and Mudsteel. So a pretty threatening team offensively. The combination of Victini and Hydreigon was something that I actually ran in DGBA Season 5, and those two cover each other's weaknesses very well, with Hydreigon being able to be immune to the ground that Victini doesn't like, and Victini being able to chew up the ice, the fighting, the fairy type attacks, all of those that Hydreigon doesn't like, as well as them both being able to U-turn, as well as them both being able to U-turn and gain momentum for each other is going to be really nice. However, if you notice his team, the big glaring weakness firstly is that really none of his Pokemon except the Mega Manectric exceed the base 100 speed tier. It's literally just Mega Manectric off on its own little island, of lack of a better phrase, off on its 135 speed tier, and nothing else is anywhere close, which means that my Pokemon that are Crobat, Azelf, Alolan Persian, and Heliolisk, they're going to have a lot of fun in this battle, because they really don't need to run that much speed investment to outspeed his threats, because Victini is basically the top of the speed that I would actually have to worry about, and it's only base 100, meaning even things like my Alolan Persian and Azelf can run Adamant/Modest this game if I so do desire, and that's actually going to be something that I do abuse about him. Usually there is one or two things I like to abuse about my opponent's teams, and this is going to be one of the things that I do have as my little trick card, if you will, because my offense just really likes to because my offense outspeeds his overall offense and has a pretty good time being able to beat down his team. I am going to be having a little bit more of an offensive team. Well, offensive for me at least, a guy who really likes his bulky balance/balance builds. I'm going to be running a little bit more offensive because, again, my offense just does really well against him. He also has got the Deoxys defense, which does have recover, so I think it's quite literally just a regular Deoxys defense. I think it did cost him 18 points, so he does have spikes and stealth rocks on that, but I feel like Deoxys defense is quite pressured on this team to be his hazard setter, as Mudsteel, it's a good stealth rocker, but you don't want to bring it always. Sometimes you want to bring Curse Mudsteel, sometimes you want to bring Choice Band, sometimes you want to bring Assault Vest, so his hazard department isn't that impressive versus me. However, he does still have some good options like Spike Stack with Glycopod, which I could see coming versus me just because of its good matchup versus my Mega Scizor and Zygarde core. Now let's talk about some threats that I have versus him, and I'm just going to get straight into it. I have for my first Pokemon, Alolan Persian. So if you fast forward back to the team that I just showed you, he has very little reliable recovery on that team. I believe it's only Hydreigon, Serena, and that's pretty much it on his team. He has no Wish Passer. Really the only way that a lot of his Pokemon get recovery on his team is due to the fact that they can run Rest, which I think is a very unreliable way to gain recovery. And I plan to abuse that with my Alolan Persian, as with this Alolan Persian a +2, I can pretty much take you a lot of things. I do need to get up Stealth Rocks to be able to Oko a few things like the Azumarill with Thunderbolt a +2 and the Hydreigon depending on its set a +2 as well, but that's really only the only requirements, and with his hazard removal pretty much being Serena and I guess Hydreigon, but you don't really want to run Defog Hydreigon, then yeah, that's definitely going to be an option that I can go for. As pretty much the combination of Thunderbolt and Hidden Power Ice is just good. His team doesn't really respond to Bulk Beam anyway, but then you also have Dark Pulse plus the Dread Plate. Now a lot of people might be saying, well, Parksy, why aren't you running Expert Bell versus him? Because pretty much I'm going to be hitting the entirety of his team for super effective damage. However, Dread Plate lets me get the guaranteed Oko versus Mega Manectric, which I think is more reliable and is more likely to come into effect in this game, as I do 100% minimum to a Mega Manectric with the HP investment carried over being able to outspeed a max speed Crobat that I might run. So that's why I run the Dread Plate. I am able to run Modest in this game, as I already said. With a 252 special attack and max speed, I can basically have the most damage output as possible, while also outspeeding max speed Timid / Jolly Victini, which reaches 328 speed, whereas my Alolan Persian is 329. So the only way he can outspeed my Victini is with a Choice Scarf, which I do expect either Choice Scarf Victini or Hydreigon to come this game. I feel like he does need one because Dragon Dance Zygarde is a huge threat against this team, and he does need something to revenge kill it, because Mega Manectric sure might be able to run Hidden Power Ice, but then that means my Swampert is going to be able to potentially threaten him out as well. So he's really got to take that consideration in as well, whether he runs Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Grass versus my team, as my team is pretty good against electric types just generally. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing much to say, just the Technician being able to boost Hidden Power Ice to pretty much Ice Beam levels and do a lot of damage to the Hydreigon and to Serena. I'm going to set down my mic, so apologies if you can hear a little bit of rattling. So yeah, that's pretty much a Alolan Persian. I feel like I am going to be able to get the Fake Out on him quite a bit, because he might be expecting just bulky Alolan Persian like I have brought for the past 2 games. But no, I'm going to be running an offensive one, because it just blows through his team so well. I can set this thing up on the H-Slash. I can even set it up on potentially something like the Azumarill if it is bulkier. I think I can take a hit from the Serena or a Choice Locked Victini or Hydreigon into their Dark Pulse, their Psychic, or their Zen Headbutt or whatever. So I do have a lot of options to set up with this Alolan Persian, and a Thunderbolt from a Mega Manectric can't even knock out this Alolan Persian. It does 93% maximum, so even like a round of toxic damage even won't be able to take out my Alolan Persian, so that's also really nice. But yeah, this is just a really good I'm going to say win con, but it can also be a really good breaker. This and the Pokemon that I'm going to follow up with can break really well to each other. Just yeah, they're really good offensively. So the next Pokemon on my team is going to be the Zygarde. This Zygarde is very good versus a Draconium Z, Dragon Dance, either sweeper or breaker, depending of course on what Pokemon he does bring, as pretty much this Pokemon after Dragon Dance can outspeed the entirety of his team barring Choice Scarfers. I have enough speed investment on my Zygarde that after a +1 Dragon Dance I outspeed the Mega Man by 1 point, and I do have extreme speed to be able to chip down something like a Choice Scarf Hydreigon if it is weakened and decides to be his revenge killer of choice. I also do have Outrage and Thousand Arrows on this just as general coverage, as well as Draconium Z Outrage. At +1 I can nuke the Serena and pretty much make it not a response to the Zygarde whatsoever, and of course Thousand Arrows is really good. Stab versus his team only being resisted, I believe, by Golisopod and Serena on his team. Draconium Z Outrage is also really nice for being able to OHKO the Golisopod, which can also be a potential response to my Zygarde with Icy Wind. I know that around this time Golisopod was popping up slightly in OU as a potential Zygarde response, so yeah, that's kind of funny. But yeah, just max attack Adamant. I'm not really pressured to run much speed. Sure, I could outrun something like the Toxicroak, but Toxicroak doesn't really have that great of a matchup versus me due to my double ground core, and even so I don't believe Toxicroak can knock me out with any one attack, even Ice Punch. There's going to be something else that I was supposed to say. Oh yeah, also his combination of Hydreigon and Victini is why really I struggled in DGBA Season 5, because I used that same combination as I already said, and the problem with Zygarde and Victini is a double-edged sword. It's an advantage and a disadvantage. So the thing I'm referring to is their speed tiers, with Hydreigon being 98 speed and Victini being base 100 speed. So they're very good at scouting for each other. For example, you can run Victini just a few speed tiers lower, and it can be the same speed as Hydreigon, and you can scout for potential Choice Scarfers and things like that. But also they share the same speed tier, which is what I think Dave has kind of fallen into, where they share the same speed tier, so it's very hard to try and diversify your speed tiers on your draft, and that's kind of the struggle that he had. As well as that, I also feel like his draft is very top heavy, as the combination of Deoxys, Speed, Victini and Hydreigon costs, I believe, about 55 points, 54 points. Like, that is a serious amount of points that he did invest into those Pokemon on his team, which do work well synergetically. But yeah, I feel like he definitely is playing the repercussions. As the next Pokemon on my team is going to be the Swampert. I have got a Rindoberry variant, which is my physically defensive Swampert to respond to things like Choice Band, V-Create, Victini, as I can take 2 of those, and I do have access to Earthquake, Roar, Scald, and Stealth Rock. Just a very good Pokemon versus Team Stealth Rock, being able to, of course, whittle down his team into range of my Alolan Persian. I do have Roar, so that I can phase out the Serena if it comes in. It takes 12.5% from rocks. I can get roared out and likely into something that Swampert can beat, and then I can continue the cycle and just really rack up damage on his team. The combination of Roar and Stealth Rocks is something that Alolan Persian really appreciates, especially against a team that is so lackluster on the healing department. So I just have Earthquake, and which is a good stab, as well as Scald, again just a good stab. Roar also helps out against something like a Substitute Hydreigon if he wants to bring that. I know I brought it in the past, it's quite a good set, but if he does want to set up a Substitute, I can just Roar it out if he is expecting a Toxic, and just, yeah, take a lot of damage off him. I do have the Rindoberry just because there wasn't really much else that was a better item, as well as also me feeling the potential of things like Energy Ball, Victini, and also being able to chew hit from the Serena to set up maybe last minute Stealth Rocks or to roar it out could also be kind of clutch. And yeah, again, I didn't really feel like the leftovers recovery was going to be that important, as the next member of my team was Sylveon, so I was going to be able to get Wish Passes on anyway to my Swampert and keep hitting it up. And again, that's just sort of the thing about Sylveon, is that I do need this Pokemon to be able to heal up my Swampert, keep it healthy, and be able to respond to a potential Choice Band Victini. This is a good response to the Hydreigon, as with the special defense investment in Cannon Nature, a Life Orb Hydreigon with Flash Cannon is never a 2 KO. Scarf with Stealth Rocks isn't a 2 KO, and sure, Specs with Flash Cannon can be a 2 KO, but with Protect, I can be able to get myself out of range of a 2 KO. I've pretty much been running this Sylveon set most of the season, and that's just because a lot of people really struggle to break Sylveon, because it does have that really impressive special attack stat, plus Pixelate boosted Hyper Voice, which I know was nerfed, but it still does a lot of damage. It was nerfed, but it still does like a really good amount of damage. And sorry, as people were messaging me about my Discord server, but it does a lot of damage. It also prevents people from setting up substitutes. Baton Pass is also really nice as a form of momentum, being able to Baton Pass out when he goes into things like Aegislash, which should be his thing that responds to the Sylveon, as I don't believe he actually has a poison type on his draft either. So, you know, kind of wishing I had Toxic Spikes, but no, Crobat's a good poison type anyway, and again, just Protect and Wish, being able to get recovery off into things like the Zygarde if I need to, and the Swampert as the next member of my team is something that I haven't actually brought, I believe, since week number 2, and that is Volcanion, and this is a very nice Pokemon versus this team. Now, if you notice, he has a thing called Azumarill. Azumarill just doesn't do anything to Volcanion. Azumarill really isn't going to enjoy this matchup versus my team, as I do have 2 water immunities, meaning that he really can't run a Belly Drum variant, and he struggles to run a Choice Band variant because he can't lock himself into Aqua Jet, and if he does, then that pretty much means that my Volcanion gets to come in for free. Just Choice Band Azumarill is really annoying for him, because the only thing he can really hit my Volcanion with is either a superpower or knockoff, both of which Zygarde can come in and start setting up Dragon Dances on. So again, really good type synergy between the two there. But this is going to be my main Pokemon to pressure the Serena. If I can get a substitute off on the things like Aegislash or Serena as I switch, then that can be nice. Sludge Bomb is going to be good versus the Hydreigon, as potentially with the Poison and 2 Sludge Bombs I can be able to knock out the Hydreigon, and getting rid of it, even being able to chip down the Hydreigon with a Sludge Bomb is all the damage I need for a +2 Ice Hidden Power Ice from an Alolan Persian. That's literally all I need. And then I also have Flamethrower and Steam Eruption, again pretty much just dual stab, good coverage versus this team. I can also get some burns if I need to. And then the substitute, again, I've already clarified, also good for things like some toxic users that he might have, and if he is locked into things like Choice Band, V-Create with Victini, I can just go into this Volcanion, chew it up very easily due to my 4x neutrality to it, or 4x resistance to it, sorry, and just be able to chew up the hits. The speed is not really necessary, it's just there for speed creep wars versus Serena, as if he is running a bulkier variant, then I might be able to get the jump on it and do a lot of damage, if not knock it out with Flamethrower. So that's pretty much it for Volcanion. Again, I'm not really pressured that much to run many speed tiers, as I believe his next slowest Pokemon below Serena is the Azumarill, the Aegislash, all those base 50s, so again, I don't really need the speed, and that's what is really nice about my Pokemon in this matchup, is that they aren't forced that much to run speed, so I can run just EVs into HP and make it super bulky. Next, well, the final Pokemon, excuse me, on my team is going to be the Crobat. This is just going to be a very nice momentum gainer versus his team, as I did want to have 2 forms of momentum. Due to his team being so slow, I feel like a momentum chain between Sylveon and Crobat is nice to have, as he likely is going to be spamming momentum himself. He's got so many good momentum users like the Megamanectric, the Victini, the Serena, the Hydreigon. All those Pokemon are really good momentum users that are quite likely to come, so I definitely do have to keep my wits about that, and if I can constantly counter his momentum and my momentum through the use of U-turn Baton Pass, and he might be pressured a lot. I've got Defog on this set just in case the Deoxys defense comes. Deoxys defense, just because of how bulky it is and how lackluster usually it is offensive wise, it shouldn't really be able to hit my Crobat for that hard, so I should be able to get off Defog without being at least O code. I do have Brave Bird because it is just a very good stab move versus this team, and pretty much if I can force in the Aegislash or the Manectric, that's great because they don't have reliable recovery, and yeah, I can just constantly chip them down, and do just good damage as you turn again. It's just there for momentum. Not much really to say about this Crobat, just enough speed to outspeed the Victini. Adamant nature because again, final time I'm not pressured to run timid, not pressured to run jolly, not pressured to run that much investment into speed. A Crobat is just a really nice glue Pokemon for this team, being able to respond to some other Pokemon like Serena, like Mudsteel. So hopefully, like week 3, we won't just sack it off to an attack, basically. So yeah, knock on wood for that. But here is going to be my team all in all. I've got the Alolan Persian, the Zygarde, the Swampert, the Sylveon, Volcanion, Crobat, as I do expect my opponent Dave to bring the Victini, as again it can run so many sets. I do think a special variant with something like Glaciate, Psychic, Blue Flare, Energy Ball, maybe not Psychic, maybe just U-Turn as its 4th move, and a Choice Scarf variant maybe is a good option, or it could be something like Flame Charge, Victini. That could be a potential setup option. It could have also Thunderbolt for my Volcanion and even my Crobat to a certain extent, now that I'm just looking at it. But really there's a lot of options that this Victini can have. So yeah, I feel like it is a must-have on the team. I'm pretty sure it was his round 1 pick, so yeah, I'm fairly confident that it does come this game. This next Pokemon is Hydreigon. Again, it just forms such a really good offensive and defensive synergy with Victini that I do expect it to come. It could be a bulky Defogger, especially because I think it does, but it beats 2 of my 3 rock setters on my team. I could do very well versus a Roarus on the switch and with Flash Cannon. It could also be another Choice Scarf user, but the great thing is if he is forced to revenge kill with either Victini or Hydreigon against my +2 Alolan Persian, then the Victini is going to be going for Blue Flare, the Hydreigon is going to be going likely for Draco Meteor. That means that my Zygarde can come in versus a Blue Flare locked Victini or a -2 Hydreigon. Either way, I can set up a Dragon Dance and I can be all Gucci. Again, just Hydreigon provides some really good responses in terms of just its nice typing to my Pokemon, such as Ground. It's good against the Dual Stab my Volcanion, which otherwise can demolish his team due to having Sludge Bomb to beat the Azumarill in 1v1 scenarios. So I think it does come. It's just what set it comes as it could be a Life Orb Breaker, it could be even a Choice Scarf user, it could be even Specs, who knows, just as a Wall Breaker. The next Pokemon is Aegislash. I think that Aegislash has some very key roles to respond, but has a good job in responding to a lot of members of my team. It's his best response to Choice Specs Sylveon, to Crobat. That could also be something like a Choice Band variant. It also is good versus things like the Chestnut on my team. It can sort of 1v1 non-knockoff variants of Mega Scizor, and even then it does have King Shield to be able to weaken down my attack with the correct predictions. It also is good against my Azelf, so it does have some very nice matchups just due to its typing. It can also be an SD potential breaker with the combination of something like Sacred Sword, Iron Head, and Shadow Sneak, which could be an option versus my team. It could also run some sort of toxic variant to pressure my Mega Swampert and just be a special defensive bulky wall, something along those lines. But I do feel like Aegislash is a very likely contender for his team. As next up is a Mega Manectric. Again, electric types aren't good against my team because you have to pretty much pick your own poison. If you choose Hidden Power Ice, well then my Mega Swampert gets to set up rocks on you. If you choose Hidden Power Grass, then my Zygarde gets to set up on you all day. So it's really going to be a bit pressuring for my opponent's Mega Manectric and what they want to go for. However, it does have a really good speed to it versus my team, of course, being able to outspeed the entirety of it. And it also is as fast as Pokemon by a milestone. I mean, there's 35 speed points between it and Victini, so quite literally, I feel like Mega Manectric
has to come just pretty much to repair his speed tiers and provide him with some pretty good um, natural speed, and that isn't going to be choice locked whatsoever, as it also does have a nice ability in Intimidate, so it can also be able to intimidate things like a Mega Scizor and have a nice electric typing to be able to take hits like the Bullet Punch from my Mega Scizor if it does come down to that. The Serena is what I expect to also come on this team, just as a bulky rapid spinner, U-turner. It can also carry Synthesis, Power Whip. It can, I believe, have his Zen Headbutt as well, so it can also pressure my Crobat with that. So it can be Assault Vest, it can be even Choice Band maybe, although I do think that Rapid Spin is very reliable in Choice Band set. It could also just be some sort of specially defensive variant. To take hits better. Well, actually, no. Physical makes sense for the Zygarde, and special, I guess, can sort of make sense for things like Sylveon if he does want a pseudo response to it. My throat's sore. Sorry, I just had to record that intro for about 15 minutes because I kept getting it wrong. So yeah, apologies. But yeah, the grass typing is really nice for being able to take the 1000 hours from my Zygarde. So that's pretty much it. As the final Pokemon I think that he might bring is the Mudsteel, as it can be a good pseudo response to my Mega Scizor with a Curse variant. It can also set up Stealth Rocks versus my team, and Choice Band actually can be quite threatening, as it does do actually a respectable amount of damage to Swampert with Earthquake. Mudsteel is no joking around with its pretty respectable attack stat, and also stamina being able to boost its defense can also be a sort of way. I'm trying to think of the word. It can not like it sort of like threatens my Zygarde from being able to go for 1000 arrows in a way, because it's literally just bulking up its own defense. And then the ground typing is also nice because it also gives him a response to Heliolisk. Otherwise, it can also be able to just run a Volt Switch and be able to spam it around his team. Although, granted, Manectric does have the Lightning Rod ability, but even then, it isn't really that reliable, as I feel like you'd want to get your speed with a Mega Manectric almost immediately. So yeah, and the word that I was thinking of was deter. So deter a potential 1000 arrows play for my Zygarde. Even though +1 Draconium Z versus the Mudsteel kind of just boosts back anyway, does about 90%. But I don't know, he can rest up, I guess. So yeah, it does have some options. But without further ado, let's get into the battle.
Okay guys, so we are back with the battle, and our opponent Dave has brought the Serena, Hydreigon, Mega Manectric, Victini, Azumarill, and the Aegislash, so a pretty powerful team, pretty threatening. The only Pokemon that I didn't have down as my top 6 is the Azumarill, which still is a good Pokemon versus my team. It can either be a Life Orb Breaker, or it could be some sort of maybe Toxic Spam variant, just a bulky pivot into the Zygarde. Either way, I think that my two potential win cons have got a very good opening versus this team. Pretty much all I need for the Zygarde win con is just to take down, or identify at the very least, a Scarfer, which is either Victini or Hydreigon, and then maybe even wear down the Serena and the Azumarill. Alolan Persian, however, is a little bit more reliable of a win con, so I might want to try and go for that. The only requirements for that is, of course, being able to identify once more whether the Victini or the Hydreigon is his choice Scarfer, and then being able to take down the Mega Manectric. So I feel like he is going to lead off with one of his choice Scarfers at the very beginning. It's either going to be the Hydreigon, it's going to be the Victini, or he is going to get off the Mega with his Mega Manectric so that he can instantly get the Intimidate ability, which is a lot more useful in this matchup than his Lightning Rod ability. So either 3 of those I do expect to be his lead, and because of that, I am going to lead off my Swampert, because if I can get in Swampert, I can set up Stealth Rocks, and I can get free switches into my Crobat, which is very good at weakening down the likes of Mega Manectric for my Alolan Persian, and into range my Zygarde's Extreme Speed, and it's also nice for wearing down Aegislash into potential range of my Sylveon's Hybrid Voice, meaning that Sylveon could do a lot of damage versus this team if that Victini is, like I expect, to be a special 4 attacks variant. and then we'll have to work out what item it is, whether it's Expert Belt, Life Orb, or Choice Specs, or Choice Scarf, or it could even be, again, physical, so I had to work that out. But I'm going to lead off with the Swampert here, as he does actually decide to lead off with Serena, so that is a bit problematic, of course. My Swampert does not want to take on the Serena, as I'm not packing Toxic on this, so even if I wanted to choose the Grass Stab that it will go for, I can't really pressure the Serena, so I just decide to switch out, go into my Crobat here. And I am going to pre-warn you guys all right now that this battle is very long, so I'm sorry if I do slip up once or twice during the narration of this replay, but yeah, it's a quite a long battle where there's some very similar turns that happen this battle, and I'm sure you'll see what I mean in a bit. So I go out into my Swampert here, expecting him to fire off Hidden Power Ice as a neutral mid-ground response to my Zygarde switch in, and also my Crobat staying in, as he actually shows the Toxics. That's a pretty cool set that he has, being able to both wear down my two ground types while also providing offensive momentum, of course, for his team, with the combination of likely Thunderbolt and then Flamethrower for the Mega Scizor. So here he's going to go out into Serena, as I decide to set up my Stealth Rocks here because, oh no, I go out into the Crobat, again, very similar turn. So I go into my Crobat, because he likely doesn't have a hidden power then on this Mega Manectric. If he does, it's going to be hidden power Ice. You don't run hidden power Grass plus Toxic just to get rid of a Swampert, because then Zygarde still can boost up quite a bit. So I decided to go out to my Sylveon here. It's a nice specially defensible, and I know it can take a lot of the hits that he decides to go for. So here he goes, switches out into his Victini as I go for the Baton Pass, trying to get some nice momentum, potential on him going out into the Aegislash so I can get a substitute up with my Volcanion. So I do go out into my Volcanion because weakening this Victini is going to be really nice, especially if it is one of his potential Choice Scarfers, as here he fires off a Thunderbolt and he crits me, which is really annoying because if that Thunderbolt did not crit, it was a low roll, so that meant that my Volcanion would have been just above 50%, I believe, of my investment, and if he isn't a modest Victini, meaning that he basically can't do what would happen this turn. He would likely be threatened out, or at the very least not be able to go for the Energy Ball here, meaning that the Rindu Berry on my Swampert has been popped. So it still was a good scout play on my end just to identify if the Victini was Choice Scarf or not. It isn't, so I'm pretty sure now that the Hydreigon is his Choice Scarfer, so that's some good knowledge to keep in the back of my mind, just in the exchange of a few HP points in my Swampert, which thanks to the good type combinations between Sylveon and Swampert, I should be able to get a wish into that slot. Here's hoping. So I go out into my Sylveon again, due to him being likely just a max special attack variant with special coverage moves and no real physical moves. I am pretty confident that my Sylveon is a good switch in response to it, as here I can just fire a wish into the air as he goes out into the Aegislash. Now I go out into my Swampert here. If he fires off a Shadow Claw, sure he does knock me out, but I get some offensive momentum. My Alolan Persian being able to set up a potential Nasty Plot, being able to fire off a Dark Pulse potentially, or even a Thunderbolt, expecting his Azumarill switching, as here he is just going to fire off a Shadow Snake. He reveals to be a bit more of a bulkier variant, so he might not have max attack investment, which is fair enough. He might want some Spadef investment for my Sylveon, as I believe here is the turn that I set up my Stealth Rocks. I hope that I'm not wrong because I'll look like a Dumbo, but yeah, okay, so I set up the Stealth Rocks here. He decides to actually, I believe, to sack off the Victini. After all, it pretty much has done its job, being able to break my team, and I think he's realizing this Victini can't actually break the Sylveon, so it isn't really that useful versus my team. Either that or he expected Stealth Rocks, which is good on his end, so I decide to go out into my Sylveon here, as he is just going to fire off another attack, which is going to be the Energy Ball once again, as he gets a crit, which is a little bit annoying. It is going to force me potentially to fire off another wish, and maybe lose 1 PP more than I would have liked, but at the end of the day I don't think that crit was super crucial, as here he fires off a blue flare and he gets more hacks versus me. He burns my Sylveon, so that really isn't nice, because now without this blue flare I wouldn't be in range of a second one. Well, I would be able to 1v1 this Victini better without the burn damage. Pretty much now I have to lose a lot of PP points my wish just to get off one Hyper Voice versus his team. As here with my Alolan Persian, I'm just going to fire off a Dark Pulse. This might look like he got the better end of the deal, being able to defensively switch into his Azumarill to check me. However, I'm fine with that because that does put it into range now of a +2 Thunderbolt no matter what from my Alolan Persian, and he does reveal to be a bit of a bulkier variant. I still go into my Crobat expecting potential Life Orb, well, not Life Orb, but still
huge power boosted play rough, since that would still be able to knock out my Alolan person as he just fires off toxic. So very clearly his team is just revolving around toxic spam into maybe something like a Mega Manetric sweep or a Scarf Type Dragon or something like that. As he decides to go out into his Aegis Slash, I just fire off a Brave Bird here because all the damage I can get off in this Azumarill is nice. Even if he decides to go into the Mega Manetric, the Brave Bird damage plus the Stealth Rock damage plus the damage that he already has taken, I believe would put him into about 50% range, meaning that it would be in range of a Dark Pulse from my Alolan person. So here he decides to go out into the Mega Manetric here as I just fire off a U-turn. So that's going to be again really nice chip damage that I'm allowed to get off on the Crobat. So that's just again really good damage that I can get off on him and attack. Sorry for the lag. I'm not sure why that is. I'm gonna switch off my phone since I did get a notification on Discord. So here comes my Sylveon. As this is pretty much the only thing my Sylveon can actually get a wish up on due to its just high special defense stat. I should be able to chew the Thunderbolt barely, but as you're about to see with 6% left, but I can still chew it as I'm going to fire off the wish. So this is where the burn does come nice on my Sylveon, as he isn't able to tox me with the Mega Manetric. But still, it is really unfortunate to have to deal with the burn turns with the Victini Blue Flare, as that definitely chipped down my Sylveon. Pretty much forcing me to bring this in versus the Mega Manetric just to try and heal up on it. So I am going to get my wish recovery here, as you're about to see the next few turns, as I'm actually going to speed this up a little bit. It's just basically me wishing, protecting, trying to get up to full health, and just trying to keep my Sylveon healthy to take on the rest of his team. I do want this to be a reliable response to the Victini, as I've seen his coverage moves. I know that he's got the Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, he might have Glacius. That can be very threatening versus my team, as I do want my Sylveon to be a good response to it, at the very least being able to take 2 blue flares. He's going to fire off another Thunderbolt, and I'm just going to fire off another Wish. Now I'm at the range now where even a crit Thunderbolt cannot knock out my Sylveon, so I feel confident I'm just going to be able to fire off a Hyper Voice here. Even if he goes out into Aegis Slash, that is still pretty nice damage that I can take. So here he is, just going to switch out now into the Serena, as I'm going to fire off a Hyper Voice, and that is going to do some really nice damage versus his Serena. And yeah, that's going to do about 40%. So here I am, just going to get my wish back up, as I do get a little bit of health and of course damage off the Serena, being able to hit it for 2 KO, as I am going to switch in my Crobat here to take any hit that he wants to go for. Whether that be Power Whip, whether that be going for the Rapid Spin, which he does inevitably go for, because he does sort of maybe want his Victini now for one final hit, as I am just going to be able to recover up with my, he's going to be able to recover up with his Serena, showing that he's left it is not some sort of Assault Vest variant. So here's going to go out as the Mega Manetric, as he is going to weaken my attack once again, but with this U-turn damage, I guarantee put him into range of a Dark Pulse from my Alolan Persian, so that's going to be really nice, meaning that I don't really need to get the nasty plot up versus this thing to knock it out. So that is going to be something to take into consideration. So here I am going to be able to heal up my Sylveon, as I can just fire off another Hyper Voice versus him if I want to. I can also go for the Wish, but I believe I go for the Hyper Voice here, as I go for the Wish here. So depending on what his variant of Victini is, I might actually be able to knock this Victini out with a Hyper Voice, as it is on 60%, and Sylveon is actually kind of powerful. So here's just going to fire off an Energy Ball, expecting me to maybe pivot into my Swampert as he gets another crit, so that's nice, as I go for the Hyper Voice. I mean, the crit didn't really matter, but it's just funny. So yeah, I get the Hyper Voice off. Unfortunately, we don't knock out the Victini, which is fine, because if I can stall this Victini out of blue flares, then my Alolan Persian might actually be able to set up a nasty plot versus it, as his only coverage choices really should be Energy Ball, Glaciate maybe, but I feel like he might go for Psychic coverage versus my team to hit things like just a good portion of my team neutrally. He might have Energy Ball, Glaciate, Thunderbolt, and Blue Flare. But I feel like he might want momentum with U-turn on that set, but he decides to fire off another Blue Flare, as I'm completely happy with that, because even though my Sylveon has used about 6 wishes in this battle, I feel like it's more important to make sure that I can lower the PP on his Blue Flares a little bit. I feel like that's more important than me losing a few PPs on my Wish, as
Also, the reason that I kind of just go for this wish protect shenanigans is because I am a little bit afraid of him critting me, and if he does crit me again, then my Sylveon will actually be able to be knocked out. So here, I believe I just go for the protect, as he is going to get in this Aegislash. Now, his Aegislash did should be leftovers plus the bulk investment, meaning this might actually be a specially defensive Aegislash. So my Alolan Person's +2 nasty plot might not be able to knock this thing out. Plus Sacred Sword into Shadow Sneak actually knocks out my Alolan Persian. So that's something to take into consideration. As I'm just going to pull the aggressive switch into my Zygarde here, I've decided I want to try and hit his team hard, as he is going to go out into the Mega Manectric. I'm going to pull the switch out, I believe, here into Crobat, making a very aggressive play, expecting a Serena play, since Serena should come in due to the 1,000 hours. No, I make the Sylveon play, so that's still alright, because I can, of course, fire off a Hyper Voice, and as you can already see, 33 turns into this battle and not a single Pokemon has went down. So yeah, you guys can probably see where I've went wrong with this sometimes. So I go now into my Crobat as he decides to go for the Synthesis, revealing that and making me aware that this is his form of recovery. He hasn't got Leech Seed or anything. So here he goes out to the Aegislash once again, as I'm just going to be able to get off a little bit more damage off, and the Brave Bird is trying to. I can't risk the Serena being in and getting slow U-turn momentum versus me, because if he does that and gets in Victini or Hydreigon, that can be very problematic. As here he decides to go for the King Shield, I go for the U-turn momentum, since there really was no drawback, as he's going to be able to drop my attack stat by 2. Of course, now Aegislash has been slightly nerfed now, as the King Shield debuff goes only to -1 now, as I'm just going to fire off another U-turn as he gets in his Mega Manectric, and even at -3 I am going to be able to get a nice respectable amount of chip damage off in this Mega Manectric, being 11, and weakening him now at range of 2 Stealth Rock chip damages. So again, just weakening that Mega Manectric, and it looks like that my Persian might actually be a pretty nice potential win con. As long as we can deal with that Hydreigon, which a good few of my members can't. So here, he is just going to go out into his Aegislash once again. I really wasn't sure whether he'd go out into Aegislash or just stay on the Mega Manectric, so I just decided to go for the Wish here, just trying to scout him out, and even then I can go out into my Swampert now, because Aegislash can't really do much damage to Swampert, and then I can be able to heal it up and once again fire off my Stealth Rocks, and every single time I fire off my Stealth Rocks I can get my Crobat in, and every time Crobat comes in, that means the Mega Manectric basically gets weakened. As he is actually going to go out into his Victini, once again trying to get a little bit more offensive pressure versus my team. As here he's obviously going to threaten me with the Energy Ball. I make an aggressive play out into my Crobat, as I believe that actually works, as he does go for the Energy Ball, and due to our 4 times resistance we are going to be able to chew that up very nicely, as here there really is no drawback to just going, I think it was a, did I go for a U-turn here? I think I did. Yeah, so I go for the U-turn here, getting a little bit more momentum versus this team, as I think here I just decided to go into my Zygarde. I'm not intimidated, and this is going to be really nice for being able to break down the Azumarill, the Serena, maybe even both of them, and force the Revenge Kill from the Hydreigon, which can get a +1 E speed off and put it into range of about 50%, which could be range of Sludge Bomb into Sludge Bomb Poison from my Volcanion, again, depending on the set. As here I decided to go for the Dragon Dance, and I just decided to fire off my Draconium Z, as he actually makes a really nice play going out into the Azumarill to scout it, so that was a good play on his end, as both times I brought Draconium Z Zygarde now, people have been able to outplay it, so yeah, I've got to rethink my Zygarde sets, because the other 3 have worked quite well, and this one has just not really done the best for me. So here I fire off 1,000 hours, as fortunately he does stay in instead of doubling back out into Serena, and he takes a damage on the Azumarill, which is going to be really crucial in terms of wearing it again into my range of my Alolan Persian, just regular Thunderbolt by this stage now. As here I am just going to be able to, I believe, fire off another 1,000 hours, since I might as well use Zygarde while it's at +1, and okay, no, never mind, I switch out into the Crobat, as I think he switches out now into the Serena, so I'm able, no, the Mega Manectric, sorry. So these terms are very complicated. So it goes into the Mega Manectric, as here he's actually going to get some momentum versus the Serena. Now, what he actually ends up doing here is actually kind of a cool strategy, because he knows that my Toxic Mega Swampert is going to be able to come in on the Mega Manectric. So what he's going to do here is he's going to know that I'm going to go into my Crobat as a switch into the Serena, and he's actually going to fire off a U-turn and get in the Mega Manectric. Now, I don't know if the Mega Manectric is Volt Switch, and even then I don't think he's confident enough to click it, because knowing that
my Swampert Orzhov or do we switch into it. So here he is going to go into the Manectric, as once again he's going to go out into the Serena, knowing that my two Volt Switch blockers are both ground types and are both defensively pressured, and in the case of Swampert, offensively pressured by Serena. So he is going to be able to get that nice toxic damage off of me. As here, I don't want him going for another U-turn. If anything, I want to get into my Sylveon because Aegis Slash is a lot less threatening versus my team than the Mega Manectric with Toxic. So here he's actually going to fire off a Power Whip, which is fine because I believe he's a bit more of a bulkier Serena, so I'm going to be able to take that hit a little bit better. As yeah, I'm still out of range of another Power Whip from the Serena, and even Crit Thunderbolt from the Mega Manectric. So here we go into the Crobat as he does fire off another Power Whip. So here I believe I am going to be able to roost up here and being able to get some health back from just be able to heal up so that I don't get knocked out by it. I go for the U-turn here on the Aegis Slash. I really should have looked over this battle already, but I've looked over it twice, and it's Tuesday, so yeah. So here again in my Volcanias, I decided to go for the substitute here because in no person's mind they're going to stay in with an Aegis Slash versus a Volcanion. So here I'm going to go set up my substitute, as I am now going to be able to fire off a Sludge Bomb versus the Hydreigon. And if he is a Scarf variant, like I do expect, then every bit of damage that I can get off on the Hydreigon is going to be very crucial in this match, especially if I can get a Toxic as justice for all the other hacks that I've got. So he fires off an Earth Power, making me think that he is going to be a Choice Scarf variant, because otherwise I feel like Dark Pulse is a little bit more safer of a play because it can pressure out. Because it's really no drawback, since you can maybe go Dark Pulse into Flash Cannon, as I am going to be able to fire off a Sludge Bomb. Unfortunately, we don't get any poisons or anything like that, as he is just going to fire off another Earth Power, making me think that this is going to be a Choice Scarf Hydreigon. But I believe here, and I might be wrong, he decides to go out into the Aegis Slash, as I am just going to be able to get some very nice momentum once again with U-turn with Crobat, which I think has went for U-turn about 10 times this battle. So here I am going to be able to get in my Swampert, get up my Stealth Rocks again, as he is going to be forced into the Serena, but every time Serena comes in, they get to go into my Crobat, get some momentum, and if he lets his Aegis Slash come in, they can get in my Volcanion as well, since I believe it is out of range of Shadow Sneak, even at a 20% range from a bulky Aegis Slash. So here he's going to get in his Serena once again to try and remove those rocks, and really it is just sort of pressuring him to remove the rocks every single time for his Victinian. Every single time that he's forced to remove the rocks, that means Crobat can come in freely, and also the rocks are really nice for wearing down the Manectric, since it only has 2 opportunities to come in with Stealth Rocks up. So he's going to get the Rapid Spin off, as here my Crobat is a little bit low, and here's the turn that I thought would happen. So I get the Roost up, being able to heal up, as I believe he actually goes to Synthesis here, thinking that he can take a Brave Bird. So he's probably quite physically defensive if he is confident that he can take a Brave Bird from my Crobat, as here I just decide to fire off a Brave Bird, see what kind of damage I can deal off, as he actually goes into the Mega Manectric, and we're just able to knock that thing out, as I believe he thought that I didn't knock him out. He kept saying in the comment section that I got a really high roll, and that it was really unfortunate for him, and that I just got a high roll. But it was Sharpbeak Adamant, which I believe does always knock out Mega Manectric, and I think he even says that at the end of the battle. But it was just funny seeing him in the chat saying that that damage roll really mattered. It hurt his Mega Manectric and his game so much, and I'm just there like, dude, I got beat down so much in this game. So I go into my Alolan Persian now. Everything is in range of the Alolan Persian. I just want to get my Nasty Plot off, as he actually very kindly does let me get the Nasty Plot off without taking any damage whatsoever, as I am going to be able to get up to my +2 here. And this might actually just be a Alolan Persian's game, as I am going to fire up a Dark Pulse, and his Aegis Slash isn't especially defensive enough to take the Dark Pulses. I believe if he was fully Spadef, he would have actually been able to take this hit, but he wasn't. I guess he was 8 max HP with a little bit of Spadef, but in comes the Azumarill. Of course, I've got coverage for this Azumarill. I've got Thunderbolt, which is going to be able to knock out that Azumarill
very nicely. And this kind of shows me that the Dragon might actually not be Scarf, because he would have went out into this and fired off a U-turn or whatever. As here comes in the Hydreigon, this is going to get absolutely bopped by by basically an Ice Beam from my Alolan person, since it is a 60 base power move times by 1.5, so that's a 90 base power, which is Ice Beam basically. As here he's going to go out as Serena. Now, I thought since he saved Serena to this point in the game that it was just going to get knocked out, so I didn't even calculate, as I'm just going to fire off the Hidden Power Ice, thinking that I just completely mollywop this thing. But it takes it, and I'm really surprised, and I think he was also surprised that Serena actually took this, because I thought that if Serena took it, he would have actually sent it out after the Aegislash got knocked out, and if that was the case, I would have probably calced and found out that my Alolan person didn't knock it out, so I would have actually saved it. But anyway, I can't get the 6-0 this game, but Crobat is going to be able to come out and fire off 2 more Brave Birds. And I'm going to be able to get the 5-0 in this game, so that's not too bad. At least I am going to be able to get that's a pretty good score, as I believe I am now 4. This was week number 6, so I think I'm now 5-1 with a plus 17 differential, something along those lines. 17 or 16 differential, so I'm going to be able to knock out the final member of his team, Victini, and we are going to again get the nice 5-0 win on the back of a nasty plot, Alolan Persian. That's why I love this thing. This thing can be brought bulky with parting shot, and then people let their guard down when they think it's just going to be a bulky pivot, and it actually turns out to be a nasty plot Pokemon that can destroy your entire freaking team, which is awesome. As Crobat also got 3 kills, so that's very nice for Crobat's new return, since I believe I didn't bring it since like week 2. So yeah, a lot of these underrated Pokemon on my team are being able to pick up the kills, and that's what I want. I want people to prepare for my Zygarde, people to prepare for my Volcanion and my Mega Scizor, so that the other Pokemon on my team, like my Alolan Persian and my Crobat, my Auroras and things like that, can go to town on a team that isn't really prepared that well for them. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please do remember to leave a like and subscribe, so you can get a video every single week while we are in a lockdown again. I haven't really got anything better to do. Question of the day: if you remember, I actually said previously during the team builder that my throat got really sore during the end of that, and I almost lost my voice just because I was speaking a lot and trying to record a lot of I was trying to record the intro without a script, which I realized was a horrible mistake. And then eventually I just decided to shorten it down, do a 1-minute intro, and yeah, then I decided to film my draft breakdown. Well, not really draft breakdown, I guess team breakdown more so. For this battle all in one, which took about 40 minutes all in all, so my throat was just completely dead, and I had a very nice drink of mango juice. So my question of the day is, what is your favorite thing to drink? I do like mango smoothies. Of course I can't get them now because going outside is pretty much illegal, but yeah, that would be mine. Let me know down in the comment section what yours is. I'll be interested to know. So that's pretty much it. It was a good battle versus Dave again, a little bit hacksy, but wink wink. Let's hope it doesn't affect me too much in the next game. Let's hope the next game isn't hacksy whatsoever. So thank you guys for watching this video. I've been Parksy. You guys have been amazing, and peace.